Which one? How about Marvel Doctor?
You guys sing a little bit while you're playing.
Now you can. Now I'm nervous because I'm under the camera, man.
Throw it.
What do we got? I was doing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Level Up Cleveland. This week we have with us in the studio Mr. Bernie Hanzel. Thanks for coming down, Bern.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
You guys might know Bern, and he's in. Well, he just told me he's in 9 bands, but I have Maiden America. I have. Are you still doing SabbOzzPriest?
Yes, yeah. We're still.
I haven't seen you guys out in a
Well,
while.
with the pandemic, we kind of, we'll come back after everything's 100% back to normal was the plan anyway.
You're in Kodiak band.
Mm-hmm.
Castle band.
Yeah.
Do you still guys do the All-Star stuff?
We haven't. We were doing that on the. We were doing that in place of when Adam was down for a little bit. We were doing now that
I'm
he's
glad to
back.
be here.
Yeah, so now he's back. They're going to do that, and then
Cool.
Like, it was another like a little side thing,
And now I just saw you guys are playing it in a band doing SP3, which you said is SP is side project.
There's SP1, SP2, SP3, SP4, ABC, and different versions. That just means side project. That's all.
So basically, what that is that there's like a pool of you guys now. Like there's just a bunch of musicians, and you guys can just like interchange parts and form a band.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, and you are, dude. That's basically what this is. Each one of these bands is a slightly different thing that you're doing. You're not playing, obviously Made in America is the Maiden thing,
right?
And SabbOzzPriest, pretty much you get the gist of what that is too,
right?
But the other ones, you do like a classic rock thing. You do all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, classic rock. Well, like I said, teaching all these years, I got 5 billion songs in your brain, and
well, that's the other thing. You're also teaching kids, mostly kids. Is it mostly kids or
not really? Not lately. It's a mixture. You'd be surprised at adults that want to come back in and. They want to know. Just today, I had a drummer come in playing 35 years, and he wants to know how to, if he's doing things right, and he wants to get, it's cool, man. It's cool.
He's a drummer?
Pardon?
You said he's a drummer?
Yeah, he was a 35-year-long drum player, and he switched to the guitar, and he wants to make. So he's got the rhythm, timing,
Oh, I got you.
But what we got to do is, he doesn't have his mechanic, the chords, and he wants knowledge,
How long you been teaching?
40 years now, a little over 40 years. That's about
And did you always teach multiple things, or did you like to start off teaching guitar?
Guitar, bass, and voice. I've always did. I teach voice now. There's not much call for that. There's a story with the vocal thing. That's a long story. And Juan from Attacks and all the Juan's bands. You guys know Juan. Everybody knows Juan. He was my my mentor back in the day because I grew up with him, and me and him were. In the same exact neighborhood right up the street from your studio here.
No kidding.
He grew up right 2 minutes from here, right where I did, and he was dating our old bass player's sister, and I know Juan since the late 70s, like a long time.
No kidding.
But he kind of inspired me to get the voice lessons, and And I always thank him for that ever since to this day, because he's, you know, you don't know when you're a kid you want to sing and you're singing the wrong way through your and he always told me you got to do the right thing. Well, he is always right. And being a kid, you know, I'm like, I don't, you know, and I got older and I told him, man, thank you for that. But he's like my old mentor who kind of got me thinking at least the right way, and he's always right. And we played with him at the Umpire couple months ago in another Sabbath band that I got.
Oh, really?
And it was cool to see him, man, because I haven't seen him in a long time.
He's a trip, isn't he, man? He's amazing.
He's just
still
awesome.
doing it, man.
Awesome dude, man.
He is, dude.
And his voice is incredible, and I really enjoyed just to see him, man, say hello, and hey, remember this, and we were bringing up old times. Like I said, right around here, there used to be a Gray Drug up over on Broadview and 25th.
Yeah, yeah.
And he that's where our old bass player lived. Well, Juan lived right same neighborhood. We all grew up right in that. Crazy, right?
Yeah, totally. So did you take like operatic lessons like he did? Would you take opera type stuff or just
No.
vocal lessons in general?
No, I had 3 different teachers who all gave me the same basic idea. And then you kind of build from there. The good Lord gives us so much to deal with, and you either can sing or you can't. You know what I'm saying? And what you got, and then what your different voice teachers, each voice teacher tells you the same basic, breathe through your gut. Blah, 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 blah. So then I passed it on now, and I got students of my own that I try to help them get more confident, because a lot of people are real timid and they don't want to.
They tense up.
And they're trying. And some people, heck, all my guitar students, the 23rd of July we're playing, and I got a bunch of my little students, little kids, adults. They all come up and play a couple songs with us. Gets them in front of people. And guess what? That's what they love. Their parents see them, they videotape it, and they got a memory. And even if they don't carry on the instrument. But I'm all about getting the kids up there, and everybody who comes to see us knows I get the kids. I'm always pushing the kids, man.
Yeah, even in like Made in America. Some of them guys in that band, those were former students of yours and stuff like that, correct?
Yeah, the bass player actually played with Paul Diano. And
really?
because they saw him. He was in another local band, and they saw him play somewhere, and Diano had him, but then Diano got busted and got thrown into jail for tax evasion and all that crazy stuff. But anyway, then he came back home, and then my other little student in the band has just turned 18 and graduated high school.
The guitar player?
Yeah, the little guitar player. So I got 2 of them in the band with me now, which is just the greatest thing, to be able to have your buddies and your friends and your students and that with you, and
Heck yeah. Well, and it's
just cool, man.
That is what you do, though, isn't it? That's kind of your gig. Like you're not. I've seen you a number of times now play. And you're definitely a showman. I mean, let's not take away from the fact that you are a showman.
You try.
You're good. I mean, especially with the Maiden stuff. You literally turned into Bruce Dickinson at that point for a little while.
You try the best you can,
But with all that stuff, you're not like an ego-driven person where this is all like, oh, look at me. You literally are pushing all these. It's the other people that you're constantly putting out there, and that's really one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get you on here. Is I think that's the coolest thing.
Oh, I
truly think that the fact when I saw Made in America and I saw that kid playing guitar, and I remember I was talking to you after you played, and the kid, his father came over.
Yeah.
And he was talking to you.
Yeah.
And his father was like most ecstatic. You could just tell this guy was like floating on it, just standing there. And he was so happy, man. And this kid, I was just thinking, I'm like, here's this kid. He had to be 16 years old or something.
Yeah, you're right. He was.
He's playing Maiden, first of all. To find a 16-year-old that even likes Maiden, that's, good luck for doing that. And you guys jam.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, it's so cool when I see young kids doing that.
Yeah.
We just had 17 and 18-year-old kids on our first interview. They're starting up a band. We had them in here. They're really good.
Good, man.
And that's
awesome.
It is, man.
We all started at a point, and some of us, use the excuse, well, I got married, blah, blah, blah. But I've always stayed with it no matter what. And I got out of 86 to 90. I didn't play one gig in those 4 years. I quit playing, but I still taught. I always taught. But that's when Kratos kind of wrapped up in 86 a little bit, and then from 86 to 90, I kind of just was like, I don't know if I want to do anything anymore, and because I was kind of wanting to push that band. We were still got invitations to go to Germany, and
let me talk about Kratos a little bit, because so that was your first. Would you say that's your first real band?
Well, yeah, that was right. That was started as like a half copy, half original band, and my brother and I filled that. And the original bass player was the guy that Juan knew, real well back in those days, And he was so young, he had to leave and go with his mom to California because his mom moved to California. Oh. And he was like still 17, so he had to go with her. So we lost him. We had another guy come in, and it just we wanted to get that band going, and it was a dream like anyone else, and it was right there, man. But it just never really materialized because of just the timing, and
things changed.
When the one guy takes off, and then there's only 3-piece, so then my brother plays drums. He took off, so then I'm left by myself. What am I gonna do by myself? So that's when I started.
So did you get discouraged? Is that what happened at that point? Is this kind of pissed off and it's like, I'm done with this?
It just kind of gets to the point, but yes and no. But once you get to that level where you're just about ready, I mean, we had record contracts. Like I said, we have a contract from Germany, Road Runner, Road Racer, one of those two, but they sent us the paper. This was before bands did any of that stuff. And we just said, well, we weren't happy with the Iron Beast project, which was, our EP released. And we wanted to wait till something else. We did do something better a few years later. We did. I don't know if you ever have the Kratos CD yet, but that CD is... that we're happy with that, and I was gonna bring some with me today to give you, but next time I see you, because I don't have any. I mean, they're all gone. My brother says he has a bunch of them, so I'm gonna get them eventually. And I'm gonna. So
you guys, what was that in the '90s? You guys went and recorded an actual CD. Is that what happened?
97.
Oh.
Yeah, 97 we did. And
did the original guys reformed too?
Well, the main guys after the original guy left when he was a kid, and he never really did anything. We did a 45 that never even came out. With Kirk Yano at his studio way back when, and that never come out. And then we did this Iron Beast EP with the guy that replaced, and some of the tracks were done with the original guy who moved away to California. And then 97 we were really proud of our 97 CD. That was respectable in my opinion. The other things were just,
demo type stuff more or less.
Yeah, but the CD was we were really proud of that, and everything was clicking, and we just kind of did that. I think just for ourselves to show people, hey, this is.
Yeah, we weren't bullshitting.
Yeah, this is what we were proud of ourselves, and just because you're a musician, you're never satisfied. You're your own critic, blah blah blah. Yeah. That's how it goes. And unless you think there's a lot of people with the rock staritis who think that they're a rock star. Hey, come on, people.
Yeah, right. Well, you can have fun with it, but you can't take things too seriously.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Well, it's huge. Ego is a huge thing. You got to put your ego aside if you to really have fun with it. I think you got to put the ego to the side. Yeah. Otherwise, it becomes a job almost. Like when you start taking this thing too seriously. Yeah. I remember talking to you the one time we were just talking about singers. And we agreed. I was like, Halford, Dickinson, and
yeah, we were on
Dio, and you were like, yeah, you were like, yeah,
same page.
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, we're. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I remember that.
Yeah,
how do we forget that?
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, that's the three. You know what I mean? You're like, and when you have a love for the music also, and it's just kind of like, what are you going to do it
so fun
for?
To do it.
You see other guys, I guess, who become rich and famous doing it, and because you can play guitar and you're up on a stage, I guess some people think, oh, I'm that guy, but. And a lot of people go as far as to take on that whole lifestyle. They party like a rock star. How about you? You do any partying, or you're a clean guy, ain't
16 years sober. Man.
No kidding, man.
Feels like 160 sometime, but
you like
no drinking, no
great
nothing,
though, isn't
man.
it? It feels good. Feels good.
I had some good times. Drinking was fun, man. Drinking, we were basically a beer drinker, and that was a lot of fun. That was great memories, honestly. But you know what, man? It always winds up in the same point. It's like controlling your life. I'm a person in mess. It controlled your life, and you can't let anything take over everything else. And I used to be a pretty good golfer, drinking,
really
drunk golfer. And I got a couple students of mine. We went out and they'll even vouch for that, and I used to not be too bad, But try to go out after you quit, I can't even hit the ball from here to the door now, I'll hit it that way and it'll go this way. So you know what? I thought, well, let's go out and golf. I'll be golfing 7 days a week. I mean golf, right? So I'm just cool. Everything's just normal now. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah. Well, you got a lot on your plate. I mean, you got a lot.
Yeah,
you
have to keep it here,
Well, you got a time. Who was it that was telling us? It was Juan. Juan. When Juan was on here, he's another guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's in 7,000 bands.
Yep.
The guy doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, how do you do it? And he's like, time management. time management.
Yeah.
And he's sober.
Oh, he's always been, man.
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
said, man, that dude I appreciate him so much from being way back when.
Oh, yeah.
When he told me, to get some lessons, I'm like, nah, and I always go back to that in my head, but I always let him know thank you, man, because he's pretty good dude, man.
hell yeah. Well, you guys have a similar singing type of a style, too, where
Kinda.
you guys can hit, like, those crazy ungodly notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you guys still talk and stuff, though? I mean, do you get to see, do you guys still, like, do you ever just trade stories or anything, man?
The last time I said when we were, my other Sabbath band was playing with him at the Empire, I got to see him the first time in years, man. And it was pretty cool, man, to see him again, I don't get a lot of time to go out and watch other people because I'm always working all the time,
Yeah,
and I
man.
got so much to do. And I'm a kind of person that, likes to keep my jobs going and everything going and trying to keep the projects going. And all the different bands, everything going, and it's just it's a busy, it's very busy to keep everything going. But you can do it, It's just like you gotta just be kind of focused on it,
Well, like he was saying, time management. He's like, you got to keep your stuff in line, and you got to. He's like, you just one thing goes into the next. You got to be willing to do a lot of that kind of stuff.
You got to get your proper rest, especially when you get older. I notice that, man. You can't.
Hell yes.
When you're 25, man, you got the world by the, But now you just got you got to space things, and it's a lot different, man.
Now Kratos was a original band.
Yeah.
But since then, you don't do much original stuff anymore, right? All these bands that you're in, those are all cover bands.
Pretty much, yeah. No originals.
Are you good with that? I mean, do you ever, or do you write stuff like and just for yourself ever anymore?
Never written anything. Oh, we got a lot of Kratos stuff we wrote that didn't get out, or I write more stuff that style.
Yeah.
Because that speed metal is in your veins once you start doing that. I always got that in my vein. I'd like to do that again because that's where I came from, was that speed metal. That's the best. I love it. But you know what? In this town, sucks for speed metal. It's just not a metal town.
Really?
You
don't think so?
No. Cleveland hasn't never been. It's not been. L.A. is pretty good. New York's good. Detroit was even got us beat for that. But it never was. We grew up in the city, grew up playing all the time, and it's tough. It's a tough. All the popular bands are playing all the music.
Popular music, the pop music and stuff like that. That's what it is. It is. You're right. I mean,
that's where I'm going, being a musician per se. I mean, Germany, they still listen, they still love their metal over there. But people try to say, "Oh no, Cleveland." All right, whatever. You can tell me whatever you want, but I lived the life of it, and I played my whole life here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know exactly what So doing covers and doing. Like the classic rock stuff, that goes over pretty well.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying though. So coming out with something, coming out not as a metal band in Cleveland with your own music, good luck. It's hard to move things along in Cleveland.
Yeah, and appreciation isn't very grand, because most all of our records that like it's where Goldminer magazine had us, our original record. Years ago, it was up to like $80. So I don't know what it is now, but it keeps escalating, and we only made 500 copies of that. And it's super. Try to get one.
Yeah, right.
It's up to over $200 now, and it's like, wow, man, I can't believe it. But it's not really here in the States.
It's
a
overseas.
couple guys. Don't get me wrong, because there's a couple guys that are real good collectors in the States, but mostly every different places are where the booming,
Yeah, like you say, Germany is a huge metal place.
80s metal was just where, man, that was a great time to grow up with the 80s metal. It was awesome, man.
It was, dude.
Wasn't it? And I'm still there, but being in, living here in this town, I kind of like morphed into, something that is a little bit more maybe stomachable for the mass amount of people. Am I putting that correct?
Well,
in the area, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, sure,
so you
man.
could carry yourself from week to week playing and entertaining, and still not really, you're not doing your,
But do you ever just want to get do you ever have that itch though? Like, I mean, is it just you're past that? Like, I mean, like, I would think, I'm listening to you talk to me. You have a lot of passion in general, but when you start talking about the speed metal, boom, you light up. You're but you're not really in a speed metal band.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. So do you? I mean, what what stops you? Just time? Is it just time at this point, or just
it's
like
really not necessary for me to do that at the present time. I mean, it would be more of a fun thing.
That's what I mean. Just to get it out of you, just to
have fun. But now I'm at the point now where all the stuff that I'm doing is all kind of a money thing. Now.
Yeah,
it's fun and money because you got bills to pay. And you've been doing this so long, you know how to. So I mean, in metal, it really pays Zippo. I mean, unless you stayed with it, like Juan, he's got it down. He's stayed with it. God bless him for doing that all these years.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't do that with the metal per se. Once we were done with the Kratos thing, that was pretty much it. And then all these other bands are just super fun. But it's fun, and you make a little dough, and they go hand in hand together. And I'm still doing stuff, and I'm breathing and alive, so I'm happy.
Yeah, you were able to take this music thing and actually make a life out of it. You also did other things. You worked on cars and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, you had a shop and your own.
That's always the main thing was that. That was always putting food on the table. But now the music lessons are really doing well. So, I mean, between the lessons and that and then playing, it really keeps your time quite limited. I mean, you just got to get everything spaced out and get everything organized, and
How many people do you teach at a time? Like, what's like? How many students do you have right now?
Oh, right now I think maybe probably 45, 50 students, maybe something like that.
So how often do you do it? Just on Saturdays?
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday morning.
So you do it. Okay.
Okay,
I didn't know. Okay,
I mean,
I see.
So
you're always teaching.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's cool, man. That's what I like to do because that really, it's the one thing that I'm able to do. Like I'm not, carpentry. I couldn't even put a birdhouse together for my daughter at the little, I'm putting it together and I had it backwards and all the dads are coming over going, let me help you, you poor sap. And I'm going, oh, boy. I mean, there's certain things you shouldn't do, and there's a couple things in your life that we're all good at, or we all feel that we're pretty good at and we want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I wound up doing. I mean, I consider myself retired at an early age because everything I do is, I don't really have a boss,
Yeah, right.
Do whatever you want to do, but you got to, you got to keep it together, you got to.
Stay focused. Well, plus you got bills to pay like everybody else.
Yeah.
You got to have money no matter what.
So that answers that, to answer that question, why I'm doing all these bands are fun. And, we still can do a little bit, make a couple bucks here. What I'm saying?
Yeah, plus in these bands, do you need to really rehearse a lot with these bands and do all that kind of stuff?
We don't.
You just tell everybody, learn the parts, and then we'll see you at the gig.
Yeah, and we do every show we have with the Maiden America before the show, we get together one time and go out and play. And then, SabbOzzPriest, we usually practice once or twice because we have like 60 or 80 tunes with that band.
Wow. That's cool.
But, yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break right there. When we come back, we'll be back with Mr. Bernie Hanzel.
You got it.
Hello, Cleveland. I am ZM Delgado, author of the Rust Belt Rock Review at ZachO'Lantern.com, and this is your weekly heavy metal update, courtesy of Level Up Cleveland. First of all, August 3rd, Blossom Music Center. We've got the Freaks on Parade Tour, Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Static X, Power Man 5000. 4 excellent acts from the early 2000s era, and I know you're going to want to check this one out with me. Secondly, when we get into your weekend, Friday night, August 5th at No Class Cleveland, you're going to be able to see Simulacra, Last Wishes, Captive, and Last Gasp. If you can't make Friday night, how about Saturday night at the Winchester Tavern where you can see Chest Fever? That's 3 shows in 1 week's time, Cleveland. You can make them all if you want to make it happen, and I believe that you can. So, once again, I am ZM Delgado, author of the Rust Belt Rock Review at ZachO'Lantern.com. I am here with my friends from Level Up Cleveland, letting you know what's happening in the underground metal scene. Thank you very much for your time. Back to you, Brian.
We are back here with Mr. Bernie Hanzel. And, Burnham, let's go back a little bit. I want to ask you, like, a little bit about when you were younger. grew up old Brooklyn area, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, and what was your youth? What was it like? What did you do as a kid? How did you become? I mean, if you've been teaching for as long as you have, that means you started teaching in your teens, basically, almost.
Pretty much in 81, 82, yeah. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, you were young when you started, so you caught on to the music stuff pretty easily, I would imagine, right? Yeah. It was pretty easy for you, and you were able to turn it into it. So, what was that like? What was it like growing up?
The music was the only thing we were allowed to do. We come pretty strict. I was a strict family, Oh. Church and the whole Catholic school for 12 years thing, dressing up, all that, Yeah. So it was pretty. I was the oldest, so I was very, very strict. I wasn't allowed to go out of the yard till I was 18. Basically like that.
No kidding.
Drive until it was pretty strict. So basically, music was the only really thing you could have. Like maybe I don't know if you want to call it an outlet, but my dad played drums in the 40s. So my brother. He went up in the attic one day and when we were little kids, got this drum set and started playing. And I started playing in 5th grade when I was 10 years old. So we started jamming, and my grandpa on my mom's side, he was like a singer. And my great-grandfather was 97 years old when he passed away, and he could still play a fiddle, man.
Ah, no kidding.
And we were little kids, and we would go over to Grandma and Grandpa's, and he would call me Ben, and we would go up in his closet and get these old fiddles. Which we thought were, wow, these are probably antiques. Well, they really weren't,
Yeah, right.
Later you find out. But, I mean, he would like, when we come over, because my brother and I would sit with him on the bed, and he would play Ave Maria and just the Notre Dame fight song on his fiddle. And he's 97, man.
No kidding.
And he would play it really well, and it blew me away when I was a little kid. And all the other cousins would, they'd laugh and poke at him. He's an old guy. But we always wanted, I wish he was alive right now so I could just hear him play that one more time, man.
Yeah,
it was
man.
really cool, man. But, and then his son, which is my grandpa, that was my great-grandpa, and he was a singer. So, I mean, we had music on both sides,
Yeah.
My dad and my uncle did a little two-piece. My dad played drums. My uncle played accordion. They used to do that back in the 40s and that. And my other uncle was like their little manager. I hear stories of that. So it was kind of cool,
So it's just been in the family. This is like a family business almost, kind of, sort of.
It's always been there. And then, you just, when you grow up, my brother and I were always close, and we always played the metal, man. We always played. And, we played as much places as we could. It was awesome,
Where did you discover metal? How did that happen? When did you guys?
Were
you together?
You remember Peaches, right?
Yeah.
You guys remember?
Yeah, right here, Pearl and Brooklyn.
Yeah. That was the big place back in the late 70s to go, right?
Heck yeah.
So we go to Peaches to check out some the kid up the street, later the bass player for Kratos. Well, we get the Motorhead Ace of Spades album with the Motorhead on the cover, man. We're like, man, these guys look cool. This is metal here. Let's check out this album. This is back when it was brand new. It just came out.
80.
Yes.
That's what it came out.
It was right there, Ace of Spades. And, and then the Blizzard of Oz, that was a tour at Motorhead, and Randy was on that tour.
Yeah.
And all that stuff was right there. And we just, when going to Peaches and seeing that big record, and wow, man, I'll never forget the Motorhead was like, whoa, look at this. And that's all time, look at where Motorhead is now. There's this awesome, Long live Lemmy. Who would win in the war, Lemmy or God? It's a trick question. Lemmy is God.
What an amazing career that band had, huh? Like, who would have thought what a crazy band to become as big as they did.
It's just we got to meet him in '86, and he was just awesome to us, man. And
who was this now? Who made him? Kratos?
Kratos, yeah. We opened up for them in '86. So it was one of the bands. We did a lot of opening gigs and stuff. Being in the metal scene,
Yeah.
But Lemmy was just he just went off and he threw his Rick down because he always played that black Rick.
Yeah.
4001 Rick, and he threw it down because somebody opened the doors early and they stormed the variety the theater, and they come running in. I'm sorry, that was at the Agora. That was at the Agora where we played in '86. And they stormed it, and he was like, "Who opened the door?" He was yelling. So then our manager at the time goes and knocks on the door right after that, "Can you please take a picture, sir, with this band?" And he was so nice. And we were sweating it because, he just went off and he threw his bass and he went in his dressing room, slammed the door, and he came out all nice and took a picture with us.
I felt fine.
And the drummer that was the Gasmatron tour. The drummer and Wurzel was super cool, dude, man. We talked about Wurzel the most.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was cool, man. Zoom didn't have too much to say to us. He was kind of in his own thing. And but Wurzel was just hanging out with us, and he was cool, dude.
That's when they had two guitars? Or just,
yeah.
They had the twin then, right?
Yep. Yeah, and Wurzel was just like polishing that black Les Paul, man. I'll never forget that, man. It was pretty cool.
Those are great times right there, right?
Yeah, you can remember all those guys that we like Duce. You remember El Duce, man?
From the Mentors.
I knew him personally, man.
Really?
Yeah, we went to L.A. and saw him walking down the street of Hollywood Boulevard, man. We go, Duce, how you doing, man? Remember us from Cleveland? He's like, yeah. So I went to the Mentors Hall and jammed with them in their hall, and I played Sicky Wife Beaters SG, and I jammed with Heated Scum and Duce. We saw Insect on Acid. We saw Mama T-Bird. We saw a couple of other people who had names, and we were hanging out with Duce, man.
The Mentors, dude. That's crazy.
In California. Just walking down Sunset Strip or Hollywood Boulevard it was. And that was 80. That was in 86 because we just played with them. And then we went to California, and there he is going. We said, "Hey, Duce, man." So there's stories there. I got a million stories with him,
I'm
man.
sure.
But
I've heard other people who knew him tell me stories.
He was a super big-hearted dude.
Yeah, that's what they say. But they say when he would be drinking, he'd get crazy.
Boy, but he was he was a great dude, man. And being able to know him here and then going there and seeing him there, I was like, whoa, it was just like surreal, I mean, there's Duce walking down the boulevard. Holy,
Yeah, it's wild, man. You couldn't miss him either.
And he remembered who we were too, because he remembered some of the songs. It was weird, and
yeah, man.
How the music, as drunk as he was, he still remembered.
Yeah,
they came to the Fantasy in like a little Nissan truck thing with all the equipment thrown in the back with a camper top, and they had this little thing on the roof going boing, pointing like this, this little.
Like a spring on a spring
like
type
a
thing?
Statue thing, man. Like a little dude statue pointing forward. And Duce and the guys in the band crawl out of the bed over the drum set. And we're at the Fantasy. We're like, the Mentors are here. We're like, where? In that old truck. They all crawl out. And Duce comes out, is that a bar here? Where's the beer? Yeah. And we were like, come on, Duce, over here. It was cool, man.
Hell yeah, man.
It was just some good memories, but he was a pretty cool guy, man. He I mean, just my memory of him was pretty cool, man. We knew him real, like I said, pretty well when you play with him and then you go down there and you see him again. It was so crazy.
Yeah. Well, El Duce was, and he's famous for being insane. I mean, that's what he's famous for being. I mean, and their music was just like nobody else. There was nobody has Mentors, lyrics, music, anything.
They got their
own thing. The 4S Club.
Sicky Wife Beater was just a great guitar player. He had some crazy riffs, man. And their music was really good.
It was. But
without having that, as they called it, the rape rock appeal.
Yeah, it was rape rock.
Without having that, that would have just gotten probably buried. But because they did something rad, they got to the front for a little while.
Yeah.
And they were just a cool band.
Well, and they were getting played on the college radio all the time. Like you could hear Mentors all the time.
And then he did a stint with Nasty Ronnie from Nasty Savage. They did that Gardy Lou, and that stuff's as funny as the Mentors, if not even funnier.
Yeah, man.
Because the guy that managed us managed Nasty Savage, the same guy managed. So that's how we got some gigs. That's how we got to meet. It's all a big loop,
Didn't Nasty Savage used to beat himself up on stage? He was one of them guys that used to that used to destroy televisions and all kinds of stuff, didn't he?
Yeah. That was back in that day. And then they formed, they must have had Duce sing with them for a record or two, which I thought was crazy because they have it's like Mentors 2.0,
Yeah.
It was really radical. But I don't know if the Mentors were doing anything without Duce. I mean, he's the heart and soul of I mean, I know Sicky Whitebeater and Heathen Scum, they're still alive to my knowledge, and I don't know if they're still. But those guys are super cool dudes, man.
Were they really? They were super cool, huh?
They were just. We picked up Heathen Scum from the airport, you know, and are
you calling them Heathen Scum at this time? Like when you're
yeah, because he was just cool, man, and back in that day, I don't know if you guys remember the Twisted Lifter from Cleveland, the burly guy who got up on stage with metal bands, and they called him the Twisted Lifter.
Maybe
He was part of our show. We had a chainsaw song, and he'd run out with the chainsaw and wave it around and wear a hood. And he was affiliated with us and the Mentors too. And he went, and he's running through the airport, you know. And he's screaming, "We're wired!" And you can't do that today. No. But he's running through, and we pick up the Mentors. You know, all of us are going to the Twisted Lifter, and us went to the airport to get the Mentors. And we're driving, the Heathen Scums in our car. You know, it was awesome, man. And we're driving down Brook Park, and he's like, "Hey, man, isn't this the porn area?" He knew.
He knew
where he was at. We were like, "Yeah, this guy. He knew exactly all these things, and he's quoting things, and we're like, how does he know this stuff?"
Yeah, I think that they made a few visits here in Cleveland through the years and stuff. I think they would make a mega stop.
They were a jolly bunch of. I mean, you know, I know their music, blah blah blah, defends people anymore. You know.
Yeah, well, that's not as offensive as it was maybe then. Nowadays,
nowadays everybody gets offended. But he was, but they were. It was you had to take them as funny, man. It was humor, you know. It was like comic relief, man. We were asking him some funny rhymes. Dude, how'd you get something to rhyme with herpes? And he would say, "I just need something to rhyme with it. That's how I got Slurpees" on one of the songs, you know. Because we were at, did that really happen? He goes, "I just needed something to rhyme with Slurpees," and he would tell us. You know, and he would be honest, you know. Yeah. But he was a funny guy, man. He was super funny. But I mean, some people don't maybe appreciate that kind of humor, but it was funny.
Well, all humor isn't for everybody, but and it's just in this world that we live in today. If someone doesn't like it, then they want it removed.
Yeah,
it's a little different.
Back then was different because I think we all got away with more. Times were a lot different than they are now.
Yeah,
now you got to kind of be a little more careful and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Go with the flow, you know.
When did you decide that you could sing? I mean, when did that all come? When you were doing the you're learning how to play guitar, you learned that first, and then you decided you could sing later, or
no? I always sang because I sang in the Little Drummer Boy in like second grade or whatever. I was the little drummer boy.
Did you have the lead role of that?
Man, you know, always singing and stuff. Yeah, and you know, but I sang the wrong way for how many years, and then. Juan was the one who was trying to get me to sing right now. Like, I don't. But he was correct, you know. And then I got to learn how to get the right way, and now I can hit like the King Diamond stuff now.
Yeah.
You know, before I didn't have the ability, you know. But now with the breathing and that, man, there's no range at all. It's just crazy.
No kidding.
But yeah, but he was the one who kind of like was right on with that, and that just it's all in the breathing and stuff, you know.
But you were always able to sing. You always able to. You had good pitch. You're always able to carry it.
Yeah. I think you're born with that. You know. I think
you either have it or you don't, huh?
Yeah, and I've had a bunch of students who are shaky, and you can work on them. But you know, you try to get everybody positive. I'm a positive person. You know. I don't. I don't look at I look at the glass half full, you know. I don't look at the glass half empty. I'm always looking at the better thing, and we disregard the bad and always look at the good. That's how you get students to get better and better. You never ever tell somebody something bad. Never, man.
Never tell them. But let me ask you this question, and of course we won't name any names or anything, but I mean, how often do you sit down and just be like, and it's like one of them situations where you just feel. I mean, you're not. I get what you're saying about that, but I mean, like, there's got to be a lot of people who have unreal expectations of what they can and can't do.
Patience is a virtue. I always said, you know. Being an instructor, you have a grave amount of patience, you know.
Yeah.
And eventually, you keep working with somebody, and like one guy might pick up a song right away, and this guy might take 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, but 3 years later, the guy that took 6 months still playing the guitar. The guy that picked it up right away, you know, later he's not even playing guitar. He went on to kung fu or whatever else. You know what I'm saying? Something different. You know?
Yeah, right.
Because you know that's.
I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying.
Man. So the guys that take a little bit more pride and more time and really have the heart. Anybody can learn how to play if you have the heart, you know. Yeah. But not everybody can learn how to sing. You know, that's
because you're using flesh.
Yeah,
Once you have
that's
to use
something
that,
you're-
yeah, it's like
You know, it's like I could never be a gigantic weightlifter, dude. You know, it's just not in my genetics. You know,
right.
You know, how
I
many
see
of
what
us
you
would
mean.
want to be real big? But you know, you can't. You got to live within your means. You know what you're given. You know, so that's how that is.
So you were growing up, and you're talking about you're into metal and stuff. I know you like Merciful Fate.
Oh yes,
you know,
yes.
Right. So let's talk about a little bit of that stuff, like in the '80s when metal was changed. Everything was changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was Priest for a while.
Oh, yeah,
and
man,
they were like the definers of the hard, faster
Yeah, the
metal
British-
that was out
the
there at the
British
time.
metal, right on.
They were
right
after
on.
the Sabbath stuff. You know, it was Sabbath and then it was Priest.
Yep.
But now Metallica's coming out. Now
Right.
Merciful Fate's coming out and stuff like that.
Right.
We're teenagers. You're probably just around 20 years old
Right on.
when all that's happening
Yeah.
and stuff like that,
It was a great time, man.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was. And who were some of your favorite bands at that point? I mean, you had to have someone. Was it who was like what?
Well, no, like Exciter from Canada. I love Exciter.
Exciter.
Man. I loved them. We got to meet those guys with Big Dan Beeler, drummer that sang, and
Yeah.
John Ritchie playing guitar. And we were hanging out with him. He was another good dude, man. And Dan Beeler, he talked like that real quiet. That's how he would talk to you. Dan Beeler was talking to us, you know, and he'd be real quiet. And he'd get up there, you know, like, long live the loud, you know, he'd go,
yeah.
you know, and he'd really scream, man. But he would talk real quiet like that.
Yeah,
and I
weird.
learned that from that guy because he would, you know, and he would, before the show, you know, you rest your voice, man. You don't talk to nobody, and before you go out and sing, you be quiet and you take your breaths right and save your tank because later on you gotta go and you know you gotta. That was one band that I really thought they were awesome, man. You know, those guys are, and the ones me and you always talk about, you know.
Yeah. That's funny about Exciter because they were that band at that time that a lot of people thought was going to be a huge band because they were really good.
Yeah, they were super thrashy.
For whatever
And,
reason, they just for whatever reason, it's
don't
one of
know.
those weird things that
They were at the old Agora, the one that burned. They were at the old Agora that burned down back on, what was that, 26th Street or whatever? I don't know if you guys remember the old, but they were there, and I saw them. They were Exciter there, and they were like, they had like a barricade, and people were ramming the barricade, and it was crazy down at the pop shop.
Oh, yeah,
It was
man.
called The Mistake, and we used to play there. When Chris from Chris Warp Record, he had us. We were in the loop. Kratos used to play there. He was the coolest. He was so fair with everybody, and he let everyone play. And he was really fair. And then the place burns down. That was the one place where all the metal bands would play. That's when the scene was doing good, man. You know, because we would all play there, and he let everybody, the Destructor, all those guys. Man, I've known them guys for how many years? Those guys are all buddies and friends. Everybody generally knows each other, you know.
yeah.
And but he was, you know, he would give everybody their own crack at it. It was fun, man.
You think
No.
you think the city just needs another venue that's willing to do that and that could help bring the scene back?
That would
or-
really be cool. Oh God, that would really be cool, man. Something like that, because that was like, you know, like I said, every weekend was. I remember when Black Death was back; they were just coming out back then, and you know, we were all of us were just young little bands coming back then. And it was a lot of fun, but he would let everybody play this year and this weekend, and you know it was kind of cool, man. Everyone had their own little time to shine, time to play, time to get out, whatever your aggression, whatever you want to. But it was fun, man. And then once that place was gone, it was like, and
Nothing really ever formed
I mean,
again.
remember JD Production was trying to do that at the old Brooklyn Tavern. Now, if you guys remember that.
Oh yeah.
He tried to do something like that, but
Yeah.
that was unsuccessful.
Yeah, Megadeth played there, and
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, that was-
They sure did.
yep.
But there was all kinds of places that were coming out, but nothing like when Chris Andrews had that pop shop or previously known as The Mistake. There was nothing that compared to that. I don't think in the metal, and all the metal guys would probably say the same thing. Where everybody got to play there, and that had the big crowd, and that was the attraction. And then they had other places here and there, but that was the nice place. Oh man, those are good times, man.
For whatever reason, people showed up there.
And it was the metal scene was going. That's when Cleveland started getting our metal scene gear going, you know.
Yeah.
And then and then when that was gone, then they tried to do something at the other Agora now, and just it was just I don't know. It was just different. That place had some kind of.
What do you think the best time for the metal in Cleveland was? Like back when it was like the Purgatory, Destructor, Shock Paris, Wretch. when all them bands were kind of the big.
Absolutely, yeah.
That was when it was the biggest time in Cleveland because there were some great musicians.
Oh, there were
at the time back then playing here,
man. There was a ton of great bands, and all of those bands were really. It was different back then. We were all Cleveland metal guys. We were all doing the same thing. Yeah. There was Jagged Edge, Sorcerer. Those are two other bands that those bands were cool too. There was a lot of them, and the ones that you're naming, there was a lot of cool bands there, man.
A lot of them.
A lot came out. A lot of good music, excellent music.
Yeah.
A lot of it got overlooked. A lot of it, just didn't go anywhere. But needless to say, it was a good metal town. It
was, and even the college radio scene was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Peters was starting out. His stuff was just starting. He was in his first 5 or 6 years, and I think he came out 81, 82.
And he's still doing it.
It's unbelievable. I just read that's the longest college running show in America in the history of college radio. His show is the longest ever.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Yeah. Super cool guy.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff, man.
You guys, Made in America. I want to talk a little bit about that because I think that of all the bands that you're in, that's the one I like the best.
Oh, that's cool, man.
And excellent band. There's a few Maiden bands out there, tribute bands locally out there who do it well. You guys do it really well, and frankly, you got an incredible collection of guys there too. Obviously, you do the front thing, Dickinson, really well, which I think that really sets it off. But man, you got a really nice collection. You said the one guy already, he played with Diano,
right?
So he's got pretty good credit. Was he a student of yours at all, or is he? Oh, so he started off as a student.
Yeah.
How long ago did you start with him? Do you remember how that?
Yeah, it was 13, 14, and now he's like 34, man.
Oh, so
crazy stuff,
Does he still come to you for advice or anything anymore? Does he need you for anything anymore?
He's professional. He teaches at the college.
I know. I figured. I'm just kidding.
But we're cool. But what we were he's got a joking because we were. One of the opening bands, I got another student of mine. I got him to play, and I'm playing bass with him just to warm up a little, And I told him, hey, I'm not a bass player. He goes, neither am I. So I mean, he's got a pretty level head, man. Mike's a good dude, man. Everybody, I don't have anybody that's around me isn't. I don't have any ego people around, Yeah,
I noticed that too. No time for that, right?
Nah.
I see it happen to you during the gigs when I was watching you play with the All Stars at the time, where you're singing a song, but it seems like you just can't help but to metalize. Metalize things that aren't really like normally metalized, and you're just like, yeah. Whoa! You're like, it just needs it here. I don't know. Right?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, right? That's like everything gets a little metalized.
Yeah, I do that all the time, and that's just how I do it.
But that's just cool, man. I mean,
it's got to have a little twist to it.
I just think it's cool because I just think it's also cool that there's certain people who can just mold themselves into whatever they're doing, also. But you're so passionate about metal. You're so passionate, and you even showed it today a little bit when you're just like, "I love speed metal." Yeah. You get so excited.
We got the new thing is we're trying. We've been trying, but we're going to put together a King Diamond Merciful Fate King Diamond project. And I didn't tell you about that.
Oh my God,
that's hot off the press because we're getting it together now, and we got. The two guitar players are working together, and one drummer can play it, and I can sing it. So we're gonna do Grandma, and have the Grandma come out on the chair.
You guys are gonna do a theatrical.
We're gonna do the whole deal, yeah. But we got to get a venue, and we got the guys to do it. We just gotta over the years, I've been trying to do it once and trying to do it again. But that's exciting to get that, to be able to do that. Because when King came to the last time, when King Diamond was here right before the pandemic, I was there. And, what a great show.
I heard that was a phenomenal
But I'm trying
show.
to sing right with King, and it was just fun to sing, and people are turning around looking, what the hell? Because I'm singing out loud. But it was just me just being fun, and just being able to, I love his voice, I just love it, man. But it was just fun, and people would be, what the hell? But we want to try to do stuff, like that, just to carry that on. I think it would go over pretty well.
Hell yes.
Nobody in the area does that.
I never see anybody doing Merciful Fate or even just a song.
Yeah, the old Fate or even the new stuff. So it's coming. We're trying to get to time to squeeze it in and get it done. And I just talked to the drummer and the other day, and he's all about it. And the two guitar players and the bass player have been working at it, trying to get it. Because the guitar players in King Diamond Fate, they got to have their act together, man. It's all about those guys. They are so tight in there.
Yeah, man. That was
and the drums and the voice
Sherman.
can come in, but it's them guitar players that lay that foundation, man. And if they're not on, the whole thing's not going to be on. And I got two guitar players that are awesome, and we're going to do this. And so keep that in your back pocket. Man.
Hell yes.
Eventually, one day.
We were just talking about with the last guys that were in here. There's like, you know, when you're a musician, you can play all kinds of different stuff, and you sometimes find yourselves in bands that you don't necessarily, this isn't necessarily my thing, but I'm in it because, like you said, it's either money or just to be in a band and you're playing with your buddies or whatever reason you're in this band. But to actually play in that one band that you just like, man, there's just this one thing I have to do, and that's it for you, right? I mean, like
we've been trying, you know, like the Maiden thing's fun. That's super fun to do that. And it just happens to be really, just doing a few times. How many times a year? You know, not every weekend. That would probably, you know.
Yeah, you do it. You play like 4 or 5 gigs in the summer, and that's about it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's it.
Throughout the, you know, it just keeps it fun and keeps it real. But that's what makes things fun. You know, sometimes, you know, when you do things too much.
You're right. It burns out. People, you know, people aren't as excited to see it and stuff. And you play over at Cindy's a lot. You live in Medina, so it's. I live a mile away from Cindy's. Do
you really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're close. You're close by then.
Yeah, I'm right off Lafayette.
Oh, okay, so you're super close there.
Yeah.
a fellow Medina.
Yeah, I'm right there.
That's good, man.
But yeah, it's a cool bar. Because of that reason. I mean, people, you know, it's got a weird reputation, that bar, because of its past and history and stuff like that. But they do have there are a lot of good bands going through there, man.
He really tries, man. And he owns the place. He tries as hard as he could to get people in there.
He's got a lot of good bands playing there, though. A lot of tribute bands they go with, but a lot of good ones, man. A lot of good ones.
He tries.
Do you ever go out and look for new venues, or do you have like a stable that you kind of go to?
It's like before the pandemic was doing pretty good, but then when that hit, everything fell apart. Yeah, right. And I think for everybody, because everyone's in it together, you know. And now it's just like starting to come back slowly, and it'll come back eventually. But a lot of places are closing. I just heard 2 or 3 other new bars closed now.
From what now? Just because they couldn't keep up with the
Sand Trap, Legends. I heard a bunch of places
really
closed. Yeah, they're closed. And I'm like, what? So it's like it's getting the already thin places to play got a little thinner.
Yeah. So Legends closed.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I just heard.
Wow, man.
And you know, and I think right now when you're paying, you know, we got $5 a gas.
Yeah.
It makes, and your food went up. It makes you think about, hey man, I'm not going to go out to see a band this weekend. I just don't have that extra couple bucks. Yeah. That's what it all is.
Well, and I think things have happened so rapidly. So like gas and everything has happened so fast that people haven't caught up to it. So when gas goes up like this, it affects everything. Yeah. Because everything's transported via
trickle down effect.
Yeah, and so eventually, people when they see how much now things cost, you know, like a bar, it's expensive to run Legends. It's a huge place. That was a giant place.
Anywhere that, you know, they got the rent, and then if you can't, you know, make your rent, it doesn't matter who comes in there. If you just can't keep it going, you can't keep the door open. You can't keep the door open. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is, you know.
Yeah, and it's slim pickings right now, man.
Yeah, you know, our town's been up and down its whole life. There's always been somewhere to go, and you know there'll be 1 or 2 places, and then 3 years later, like we were talking earlier, where he played, he was at all the places years ago. All those places are cool, and then they're all gone, and new places will come out, and it's always a revolving door, or you know, something else will open up, and.
There's always something. But do you have a certain stable of places that you normally play at, or are you even in charge of a lot of that? I mean, like it seems to me like you're in all these bands, but you're not necessarily booking all the gigs for all these bands and stuff, are you? No. You're just in a lot of bands, more or low, right?
Yeah, and playing. Sometimes people call you. Sometimes you get gigs. Sometimes you got other people getting gigs for you. It's a long story.
You don't use a manager type thing or anything like that, or do you?
Over the years, I've here and there, but
how does that work out?
I said, the manager for Kratos years ago was also managing the Mentors, and then, and Nasty Savage back in the day, same guy. But I mean, since those days, nah, man, we just go out and play, and you book this and book that, and you get a call in from here, this person calling from that person. I get a lot of that. Hey, can you come and play this job? And those are the cool jobs where you just don't know like next weekend I got something coming where I don't even know where.
Is it a gun for hire type thing?
Go out and just play, and it's fun.
Is that what it is? A gun for hire type thing where they just call you up?
Yeah, they just call you.
Do you fill in for guys too for bands also ever?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
You just hit your GPS and they give you an address and you just go there. That's what it turns out to be.
Yeah, right.
And then you go there and you don't know where you're going, and then you get there and you're like, okay, well, but it's kind of cool, man.
But once you get there and set up, you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, and then you play, and then maybe you get asked back or you see what it is. But a lot of that goes on. That doesn't even get advertised, none of that stuff, because it's mostly private stuff. And
yeah.
But that we only advertise on like Facebook and that, or the bands that are actually playing where people could come to the public. Yeah. But a lot of the private stuff, it's cool. Either way,
Yeah. Is there anything you want to talk about as far as gigs coming up, or anything right now you got coming up where?
Always got stuff coming up. The new thing coming up with the King Diamond Fate. That's going to be super exciting once we get that thing off the. I don't know.
Yeah, and when you do that, you let us know for sure, because we'll plaster that.
That'll get going. But no, this July is going to be pretty busy. Coming up with a couple shows. I got shows coming in July, August. Always something coming up here and there.
Yeah. Especially with everything you got going on, there's always something happening somewhere.
Yeah, and you can look on. We keep a couple Facebook pages. My account just got hacked, which sucks.
Yeah, I saw that, man, and you ended up. Well, you recovered a lot.
Yeah,
you were able to recover a lot.
Yeah, maybe a quarter of who I had on there, but that's okay. But nobody's helps. They don't do anything to help you or nothing. It's just like, oh well.
Yeah.
Too bad. So you just got to open up for anybody that gets hacked on Facebook. You just got to open up a whole nother account and start it all over. I know it sucks.
Yeah.
But it's the only thing to do. Or don't go back on there again.
Yeah, right. Which in this day and age, it's hard to promote anything without social media.
That's what I use that for. You got to let the word out to some kind of people so people see what you're doing. Nobody will know what you're doing if you don't put it out at least somewhere. Back in the old days, the old. On the pole.
Yeah, putting the flyers
throw a flyer on the pole there, man. Or put it in the bathroom here.
You would see a telephone pole, and it would have 7 zillion staples still in it from all the things people have been posting.
Oh yeah, man. Or you stick it in the bathroom of some popular place around. That was the old days. But nowadays it's just easier to get people. But
nobody reads those anymore. Because they're like this all the time. They don't look up to read a sign.
Oh yeah, everybody's looking at their phone, walking into the pole. Yeah, right.
All right, well, I think that's it, man.
All right, man.
I think we're going to wrap it up right there. I really appreciate you coming down. I know you're a busy dude. This was a lot of fun. I had a fun time. And, if people want to find out where you're playing out and stuff like that, so they just look you up on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook. All the bands got different pages, and then mostly before every gig, I'll personally put something up onto my page.
Okay.
All the guys in the band, we all put our own stuff up on there. But that's one of the main places you can go. It's probably the only place right now where anybody could just go on there and look up a band. And we do have a website for the Maiden America's got our own Facebook page.
So Maiden America, they got their own Facebook page.
Yeah, we got
SabbOzzPriest. No,
no, we don't have one for that band because that band only plays out a couple times a year.
Yeah, right.
Best,
Yeah,
and then
that's a hell of a band.
Well, that's a long time band, man. When we play out once or twice a year at most, and there's so much material to cover,
When you play out with that band, still, does a lot of people show up? I bet you get that's like a huge one.
Yeah, because it's like if you don't go to this show, this might be the last one. We're getting old now, But everybody comes, it's fun, man. But we try to keep it fresh,
So there's the Kodiak band, Castle band, and SP3 is your guys are playing.
That's the 23rd at Cindy's, SP3.
Oh, that's this July 23rd?
Yeah, and then Castle's the week after that, the 30th. And then August 2nd's Maiden America at the Medina County Fair. We're actually at the fair this year.
Oh.
Maiden America will be at the fair under the pavilion, but it's a Tuesday night.
Did you guys announce that yet?
No. It's a Tuesday night. No, we have not. I have not put a flyer
That's going to be what day?
August 2nd, Tuesday. They got some country bumpkins in the grandstand, and they wanted a metal band, and I got a call from somebody who knows somebody at the fair board, and they said, "Hey, man, you want to play?" Okay, sure.
Dude,
So-
that's an outside gig, right?
Yeah. Tuesday, but nevertheless, we're just gonna rock, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Dude,
I can't wait for that because that's
Dude!
outside.
it's gonna be at the fair.
I know.
I can walk to the fair. I can walk there. I love this.
That's 8 to 11. We'll have an opener and that, but that's gonna be fun, man.
All right. So definitely this will be out by then. So August 2nd at the fair, Medina Fair, Made in America. That's gonna be sweet. All right, guys, that does it for us.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Bern. We're out.